Today for breakfast I'm having naleśniki, which are basically Polish crepes. I'm just outside the village of Ogrodzieniec. During medieval and early Renaissance times, this region was a battleground between Poles and Germanic, Nordic, and even Mongol tribes. And this is one of the many defense castles that were constructed. And about a mile from the castle, a steep climb will get you up to Birów Gród, a wooden fortification once used by the Piasts, Poland's first dynasty. Today I'm paying a visit to my uncle's village of Wlodowice. The village's origins date back to the early 13th century, and it was one of the villages that was sacked during the Mongol and Swedish raids. For a brief period it was the private town of a Polish noble family, and it was also one of the most important centers of the Polish Protestant Reformation. It was briefly under Prussian and Russian rule, and in fact it was very close to here that the German border was once situated. My uncle was telling me that this shell of a building right here was once a beautiful 17th century Baroque palace that was destroyed during World War II, and you can actually still see bullet holes. And this big guy right here is called Roman snails, and they come out right after the rain, and we don't have them in the US. Here in Poland, some people actually eat these. As is usually the case in these small villages, the main and most impressive attraction is the village church. This one is the Church of St. Bartholomew, built in a Baroque style. And just outside of the village lies another spectacular karstic area which goes by the name of Rzędkowice. We're in the village of Mstów, known for its fortified 13th century monastery, which fell victim to many military battles throughout the course of its history. It was most recently rebuilt after World War II. Prior to World War II, a third of the village's population was Jewish. I've come to this village called Borowno where I have some more family. There's nothing really here that's of interest to tourists, but I thought I'd show it to you anyways, so you can see a bit of the real Poland. Oh, we stopped in the tiny village of St. Anne because my family wanted to show me this Baroque monastery, which is still a working monastery, which is really neat to see. And it was here in September of 1939 during World War II. German troops massacred 29 Polish refugees. My family wanted to show me this really neat looking church called the Church of St. Nicholas, and I think it looks a little bit like a hobbit house. My uncle brought me to this small village just south of our village called Czatachowa, which he told me is home to a small community of hermits. My aunt went and collected a bunch of wild mushrooms because I wanted to try some traditional Polish mushroom soup that I saw in my guidebook. Good morning. We're in the tiny village of Zrębice, and we have this cute little chapel just out in the middle of the farmland right here. Oh wow, look at this. It really doesn't get more traditional than this. And right here we have the village church, constructed entirely from wood. These are always really interesting to visit as you don't see too many wooden churches. Behind me is Zamek Olsztyn. It's one of the many castles located on the Eagle's Nest Trail that was built by King Kazimierz the Great. Alright, down there you can see the town of Olsztyn. In addition to its impressive ruins and stunning vistas, the castle grounds are also home to an extremely rare species of honeysuckle, which is endemic only to this one area. We're in the city of Częstochowa, home to the famous Jasna Góra monastery and Black Madonna icon. But first I want to check out some of the city's other landmarks that are typically overlooked. This is the Cathedral Basilica of the Holy Family. Constructed between 1901 and 1927 on the site of an old cemetery, this neo-Gothic style church is one of the largest of its kind in Europe. It was on the cathedral's Pope John Paul II square that, in the first days of World War II, German forces killed over 1,100 unarmed Jews and Poles. Alright, over there is a statue of the famous 19th century Polish writer Henryk Sienkiewicz. And right here is the Church of St. James the Apostle. The current church was constructed in 1869, and though now a Catholic church, its Byzantine Orthodox style is the result of the Russian occupation. Behind me is the Jasna Góra monastery. It was founded in 1382 by Pauline monks from Hungary, and it is one of the most important Catholic sites in the world and the most important in Poland, and devout Roman Catholics come here for the pilgrimage each summer. Yeah, it might be unusual to see cannons at a monastery, but during this tumultuous period it was necessary for monasteries to also double as fortresses to protect the pilgrims and the treasures inside. In fact, the monastery was besieged first in the 1400s by the Hussites, and then again unsuccessfully in the winter of 1655 by the Swedes during the reign of King Vasa. And then again in the 1700s, again by the Swedes and then by the Russians. The monastery also houses Poland's most important religious icon, The Black Madonna. The image is believed to have been painted in Jerusalem by Luke the Evangelist on a section of a table once used by Christ, and is believed to have been brought to Częstochowa in 1382. The Black Madonna gets its name because of a fire that took place in the church which caused the skin pigments to turn dark. The Black Madonna's cheek also contains two cuts which were made by the sword of a Hussite knight when they plundered the monastery in 1430 and attempted to steal the painting. The thief struggled to get away, and according to legend, when the robber tried to inflict a third strike, he fell to the ground and withered in agony until his death. The icon has since been believed to possess magical powers. For this reason, Hitler also attempted to steal the icon in order to harness its magical powers. Every day, thousands of devout Roman Catholics come here to pray to this holy religious icon.